I don't think it was hard, honestly. By the end of the day, I was just tired, which was the biggest issue. In fact, we were talking about this yesterday when I was streaming, but like I wouldn't mind at all doing that again. Like that was a really fun fight. It was a unique kind of mechanic. If they ever put in an event where you had to do the Anthelon fight or the Kyrios fight from the story, and you had to like compete against other people, maybe like whoever does it faster or something, that would be really cool. Like I would really enjoy that, where you get more coins maybe by your progression, like just silly things like that. Maybe it just lasts a couple of weeks, right? Like 2 weeks every few months, these bosses or one of the bosses is up as like a little short-term event people can do. We need more short-term events. I talked about this before, and I made a post about it a long time ago, but we need events that like just last a week or two, and they all give the same currency, an event coin, which can then be spent on a shop with just basic event items like serendipity stones or honor or vocation or whatever that never changes throughout the year, except they add stuff to it throughout the year. So like the Animar event happens with the Daru, so then during that Animar event it still gives you event coins, but you can use those coins now for the Animar furniture, right? And then the Animar furniture goes away once that event ends, right? And then you move on to the next event, and just like a rotating list of rewards for a same currency would be awesome. And it would mean that people can save up currency. So if you didn't like the Animar event, you didn't like any of the Daru stuff, it's fine. You are able to save those up and get other furniture or other cosmetic stuff later from later events, right? So it gives people a reason to do all of the events, even if they don't necessarily like the rewards from one event, right? It still gives them a reason to do it. And that would be awesome. That would be really cool and a very positive way to get people to just do things year-round, to play all the time, to feel good about saving up a currency and using it later, or just using it right away if they only want the serendipity stone, something like that. It's I don't know. It's a design choice I hope they make at some point, but I've obviously given up on that fact. Their design decisions are not based around that, clearly, and that's fine. It's just I've seen a lot of positive gameplay from other games. I've seen a lot of positive gameplay in how things do it in mobile games and other MMOs. How battle pass systems work in other ones and MOBAs and all sorts. And hopefully at one point they kind of go to a more positive system instead of one that's like, oh, you didn't use any of your coins for the Animar event? Okay, well, I guess they're gone now. Like you actually can't use them because you did it too late. It's kind of ridiculous we have that at the moment, because it didn't used to be that way. It used to be like you could use those coins year-round, but in Legacy it was like that. I don't know why they made it now where you're punished if you don't use them in time. They're actually downgrading in the way that it works. I guess it's because people complained they didn't have enough slots for coins, so they said, you know what, we're going to make those coins expire. Instead of making a universal coin, they said, well, okay, fine. You don't want those slots for coins? No problem. We'll get rid of them out of your inventory for you. That's not what we want. We want a better system. But I don't know if they're going to do that. But anyways, it would allow, like if they did a system like that with rotating furniture and rewards, but just a base set, and then they had like an event coin that just worked throughout the year, then they could do events often, right? Like every week they could do a new event and just give people a unique kind of gameplay every reset. 1 week you get the drenching arena, then the next you have to fight Kyrios in some kind of like competition with other people in the server. And then in the next week they can do, Rum Runner Rapids, and then the next week they could do something else. And let this stuff be controlled by Gamigo. Let Gamigo be the ones who decide what event pops up. Let the publishers decide what happens when. And then you suddenly get a much more active game that gives people a reason to log in all the time. That's the kind of game that makes sense for events. People don't have to log in. They don't have to feel like they need to do the events either, because again, it goes on throughout the year. It's the same currency. So if you miss 1 week, it's not that big of a deal. You could just do it the next week with other events, or if you really don't like the drenching arena, you don't have to do it, right? You know that another event is coming soon. That's just random or something, right? It would be nice to see something like that. It's less stressful. People are saving up their coins throughout the year, which is cool. But, yeah. You think Exile have a weird sense of what player retention is? I just don't think they care about the other regions as much as their own, right? Which is normal. It's just how it is, unfortunately. In their own region, I mean, you know, they still do kind of the same thing that we have, right, with multiple event coins. But because they have better control over rewards, the rewards there are amazing. The rewards in those particular events are awesome. And in other words, they have a reason to do every single event, not because, you know, they're trying to get some kind of furniture, but because they have, like, really powerful things in those events, which we're not getting in our version. So, but still, something that would benefit every version is just a better system, a better redesigned system that allows players better choice, that reduces their stress, that allows them to have more fun, and that more positively gives them, you know, kind of a shopping experience with using their event coins throughout the year. Now, that said, if somebody does miss the Animar week, right, or if they miss the Animar Furniture week, then it's like, oh man, you know, I was on vacation during that time and I couldn't log in to spend my event coins for that. Now I have to wait until next year, right? But if all of the events were constantly rotating just every week, right, it wasn't necessarily based on any one time period. And I get that there's some, you know, there are some events that are actually based on, you know, a portion of the year, like the Cherry Blossom event, usually based on a real time, you know, real world thing, right? I get that. That's fine. But in general, right, it's, you know, a lot of events are just kind of not really based on that. They could be actually rotated often. And if it was up to the publishers when, without having to even talk to XL Games, that would be really cool. But I just don't see that happening. XL really does want to control as much as they can, even though they just don't pay as much attention, it doesn't seem like, to all the different regions. They keep adding more regions on, right? Japan just got it. And now we have a C version, but they actually control that themselves, right? By the way, I'm curious about that. Like, who's doing localization? Who's doing localization for everything in the C region? Are they just taking what Tryon did and tacking it on and just saying, yep, we're going to use what they did with their localization team because technically it belongs to us, and we're going to use all of theirs in our version? They might have actually done that. I wouldn't be surprised. But, like, somebody has to localize all of the cinematics, and they have to localize, you know, every single item in the game, and I assume they're just using what is already done instead of redoing it from scratch. Should I highlight this section of the video and just send it over to GameAgo? I mean, I've already done this. I've talked about this a lot. I've sent my thoughts in many, many times. And I've even made forum posts about it. I think on 2 different occasions I wrote up something, or at least once. Highlight an email to Jake-san. Yeah, okay. I think that, unfortunately, that won't go over that well. But, like, I don't know. We've had really, like, old events that are cool, too, like the ones that require the entire server to get together and kill stuff, right? Like the Red Dragon Hatchling event, or those events that would happen in Mistsong. And that's cool. I mean, it's nice you get to actually play in a positive way with all the people in your server. You're not just fighting them all the time. And it's just a quick event, you know, you just go there, kill something, and leave. I like that, actually. It was cool. It's a temporary thing. It doesn't have to be all the time. That's what we need. And I liked other events, too, the ones where you're actually competing against other people, like the Hallowtide event. The Hallowtide event was cool because you're randomly put into a team with other people. And the team that wins is going to be the ones who are more active, so you actually have to push your own team to be active and throw candy. Because if there's people that are AFK, you're just not going to win. So, you know, there's actually some sense in people trying to yell at others to actually throw and do something, even though it doesn't always tend to happen. So, you know, just, like, those kind of events would be really cool. Gargantuan. Is this Gargantuan? 333. Okay. It's not 380 that I got earlier from a Lucky. Oh, well. We'll see. We'll see what actually ends up happening, if anything. I really doubt anything will, though. Like, I've been talking forever about, you know, another currency for the premium pass, so that instead of just diligence coins, now we have a cosmetic coin, which just exists in the premium rewards on the Arc Pass, And that particular coin lets you choose what rewards you get from the cosmetic shop, like a new shop that opens and again rotates throughout the year. And it could be based on the events too. So like if the Daru event, the Animar event is happening, then for that duration you have some additional stuff in the cosmetic shop that is based around the Animar furniture. So not only can you use that, not only can you get the furniture with the event coins like we talked about earlier, but also you can get them with the cosmetic coins if you wanted to save up all of your diligence, all of your cosmetic coins from the Arc Pass Premium and then use them then, right? Or use them for a costume or something else, right? That makes more sense and it's a little bit more positive. And I'd like to see that kind of thing. Plus, it also encourages people to actually get all 3 Arc Passes. Right now, it's extremely unlikely for anyone to even get 1 Arc Pass unless there is something in there they want. But look, we have 1 costume, 1 title, a set of wings, which, again, they might not want any of those, a Salon certificate, some Vero weapon skins. None of this stuff is really tradable, easily at least. And people can get them, but not actually want 90% of the things in them at all. In fact, let's say you did want one of the costumes. Let's say you did want one of the costumes, right? What encourages you to get all 3 different Arc Passes when, if you take a look at them, I have to kind of pay attention to the fishing too. When you take a look at them, they all have the same rewards, just in different colors. So like, here's another costume maybe, but this is the same costume as this one, just in a different color, right? And if you don't want this in a different color, then like what's the point, right? What's the point of getting these? And they have the same things. Like here's another one. This also gives you more skins for wings, right? This gives you the same wing skins, Golden, Astro Wings, and Dawn's Drop Dove. But why do you need a second set? What's the point? Like, why? Like, I don't know. It's weird. It doesn't encourage people to get multiple passes. But if people were encouraged through some kind of a different cosmetic coin, and they would be allowed to choose whatever they want from a cosmetic shop, A, it doesn't affect actual gameplay at all, because it's all cosmetics, and B, people can actually get all 3 passes and have some value to it, because not only do they, like, let's say they actually don't want anything from the cosmetic shop, but because it rotates every year, or because it rotates every, 3 months or something, and there's new stuff in the shop, or it's based on the events, they'll still get all 3 Arc Passes just in case something later comes out that they want. And that's cool, because it means that there's value to actually doing them and playing the game through each Arc Pass period to get all of those premium coins so that they can use them on cool stuff later. And people want to support the game, exactly like you're saying, Yux. But the premium pass is just silly, right? And not only this, but on top of everything else, if they really did do this for the premium pass, they don't need to do the DLC thing, because they're almost guaranteeing every quarter all 3 passes get bought out by a lot of people who just want those coins just in case something else comes out later that they want. Or maybe they're just trying to get the stuff from the cosmetic shop that they want, right? So there is actual value to putting really a lot of focus into the system, because you are almost guaranteeing a regular income every quarter, every time the Arc Pass changes, essentially, right? Every time the new Arc Pass season starts. There's a lot of value to that. So, I don't know. It's I wish it was a little better. Like, even I would buy Arc Pass Premium if it meant that I could actually get something maybe later. And I'm not actually a player who spends a lot of money, because I am doing this on purpose. I'm supporting the game by playing it and streaming and stuff, but I like the fact that it's buy to play, and I don't want to have to spend money unless it's cosmetic stuff that I want. But nothing in the shop exists that I want, so how am I supposed to help? Right? There's a lot of costumes that I do want, but they're just not in the shop at the moment. So I'll just save up my money and wait, right? Why would I buy stuff? And yeah, so obviously a lot of people are in the same situation. They're not buying anything because they want something that is just not in the store, maybe. You would be spending money if there was, house decor. Right, and if that... Yeah, exactly, yeah. There could be a lot more things that just aren't there. There's one more point I wanted to make, which was... what was it? like, you can keep titles and stuff. You can keep these in there if you wanted to, but just the coin would be awesome. Some other store. The problem is, yeah, you'd have to go and balance it, right? It's not as easy. It's easier said than done, of course. But my point with all this is that it is worth the time to go and investigate this and to figure out a way to make it work, because, you know, it guarantees income every quarter. From the people who do want to support the game, now they can get something that, again, they might not even want anything from the cosmetic shop, but they'll collect the coins from every Arc Pass just in case something does come out. Or, again, an event comes up, like the Daru event, and then the cosmetic shop has those items in there so they can spend them for more of those furnitures if they want to, like, do something with them, right? Maybe if we fully theorize a new premium, they might listen and do all the work. Oh, and if we do all the work, I mean, yeah, it's... So, you know, my time outside of... like, my project's essentially outside of my regular day job. I do a little bit of sort of game creative director work, where I do like to help, you know, kind of indie groups do stuff and make more fun and interesting games with a very, very huge focus on fun first. Because if you make a fun game, you'll make the income later, don't worry about it. But if you stress too much about income and having to survive, then that actually becomes a big problem and tends to take down a lot of game studios, especially ones with really good ideas. So, you know, I do study games. I see how things work in other games. I see what is fun versus what's not fun, what's a positive experience versus a negative experience. And I try to balance all of those out. And it's hard, because it's hard to create a system, for sure. It's hard to create a design that works. So I do this for fun, right? I don't do it as a day job, although it would be nice to. But nobody's going to pay me without any experience, right? So, you know, I can only talk about these things. I can't really... I'm not a professional because I'm not making money off of it, or at least not a sustainable income off of it, right? Off of my little projects off to the side. But, so me giving these kind of suggestions for free to Gamigo, to Excel, it's really out of the kindness of my heart, because I really do love Arcade, and I want it to be a game experience that people love as well and enjoy all the time. But right now, you know, it's hard to invest money into the game and get something positive out of it, right? People are just not able to. And the costumes, maybe a costume does come out that they want. It's such a huge expense, because they are only they're focusing on people spending $50 at a time instead of $5 at a time. And that's another problem that is unfortunately in the game at the moment. Let's send them an invoice for your creative theorizing on stream. Yeah, exactly. My unwanted creativity that was not asked for in any sense, and I'm going to charge him for it anyways, right? Yeah, it's okay. So yeah, hopefully a better system comes out at some point, and it is one that makes it so that GameGo doesn't have to charge for DLCs. Instead, they're actually making quite a good income just from the premium passes alone, you know? But it does require a big redesign that, you know, like, how much do costumes cost then? How much are you supposed to, like... It's not easy, right? Again, all of it is easier said than done. Somebody has to go and balance all of it. How much does a costume cost versus, you know, one cosmetic coin? How many cosmetic coins do you get every season, you know? There's a lot to it. And I've done game balancing in the past as well, like full game balancing. It's not terrible, but, you know, it's not a cinch either. There's a lot of thought that gets put into it, but again, my point is that it is worth that time, absolutely, if you can create a system that is much more positive to the community. And also gives the publishers more power. Like, again, if both of these systems together came in, the rotating events with the same coin, you know, the same currency for everything, and then a rotating shop for event furniture and cosmetics, a rotating shop for the Arc Pass premium coin and cosmetics. It's just, the whole game would be significantly more positive. People would be spending money on stuff. They'd be logging in more often. Even in seasons where they're not actually even playing, they might actually still be logging in and doing stuff. You know, like if you have to take a 3-month break or a vacation or something, they might actually still try to log in and get stuff done, you know, because they want to, not because they have to, right? But because they want to get cosmetics, right? Not because they have to progress their character. And that's a really cool thing. So, I don't know. We'll see.